broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Woo! Come on, guys. We've got a very special guest here tonight, and she's chosen this song, so I want everyone at home to dance. Come on, panel. Come on, Ruby. Get down. That's some good dancing there. Michelle, I know you're not much of a dancer.
I'm not.
Can you just give us a little bit of a shimmy, just a little bit of something to start off the show, please? Woo! Now, I'm excited, guys, because today is all about Baroque fashion on Project Runway. We have a very special guest in here today. Her name is Ruby Adler. She's set to be the next, I reckon, fashion giver-taker and icon because she knows everything to know about fashion. I met her at a party a few weeks ago and she was sussing everyone at the party, shaping them up and down, and I thought, this is the perfect job for you, so we thought we'd bring her on, and I'm going to introduce her now. It's Miss Ruby Adler! Woo! So how does it feel to be a part of the panel today?
It feels really good.
Really good. And if you could please tell all of our audience where they can find you and what this lovely song is that you chose today, because I know it's by the Chainsmokers, but who appears in it also?
It's featuring Dea, and it's one of my favorite songs right now.
It's one of my favourite songs as well. And where can everyone find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, I'm Ruby Adler 05, and then on Snapchat, I am also Ruby Adler 05.
Everybody get around it. And Michelle, where can our lovely audience find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Uberreste.
Oh, there we go. Very distinct. And you can find me on Instagram at Babic, and then find me on Twitter at Babic with an underscore. Before we get into it, I have got a PSA from Mr. Undergaro, the head producer at AfterBuzz himself, about his new show. So here I go without further ado. Are you guys curious about a celebrity boyfriend's midlife crisis? Enjoy hearing stories about behind the scenes of Hollywood, amused by old TV and movie references? Then you'll love The Tomorrow Show with Kevin Undergaro. Join AfterBuzz creator and Maria Menounos' fiance, Kevin Undergaro, along with AfterBuzz co-host Roxy Stiara, Ashley Daniels, and others for all the insanity. Watch live on Mondays and Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time on thetomorrowshow.com, or subscribe and download for free on iTunes. Go to thetomorrowshow.com for more information. And I've got to say, this is one funny show. What do you think of it, Michelle? Because I was left dying how funny it was.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. And I understand you saw it as well. Did you think it was also as funny as well?
It was super funny.
Super funny. So everyone go to thetomorrowshow.com. So check that out, as I guarantee there'll be lots of laughs. But tonight's show, it started off with all of our contestants being told that they need to create couture-inspired gowns, which are all about Baroque fashion. And probably the hardest thing about today's challenge is it needed to reflect Baroque, so it needed to reflect the medieval times as well as the couture element, but they also had to be fresh and reflective of modern society. So it's pretty much taking the Baroque fashion, implementing it into modern day society, as well as into a couture piece, in all under 2 days with a $300 budget at Mood Fabrics, which is very hard to do, and we were left completely and utterly surprised and shocked with how well they did. What did you think of tonight's challenge, Miss Ruby?
If I was in that challenge, I would freak out and probably pass out. $300 would not be good for me. I have a lot of stuff in this head, and I have a lot of crafty ideas, so I don't think I'd be that good at this challenge, but it was really dramatic, and it was just a really good episode.
That's good to hear. What did you think of it, Michelle?
I agree. I always like the more intricate, involved challenges where they're not so basic, and I think for the designers it's more of a challenge. I want to see, creativity and fashion walk the runway. I don't want to see Target every week.
That's good.
So
because we sometimes get the Target, we sometimes get the Sears vibe, which is great, but it's a fashion show, so it's about showing your talent. So I'm glad there's no Target or no Sears tonight, that's for sure.
Right.
And one thing that was a little bit interesting is people, now it's getting down to the finals, some of the contestants are starting to fight a little bit and throw a little bit of shade. What did you think about people getting on Sam's back about his design?
Oh, yes. The last couple episodes ago, Kini, I think is his name.
Yes.
And Sam, they worked together, and Kini kind of did all the work for Sam's, and Sam didn't mention it. And so now, I think it just brings a whole new level to this episode and probably all the other episodes, because you really need to keep your game up to this level in the competition.
Oh, but look at that! She gets it. I feel like if you were a judge, you'd be cracking down the whip. They need to lift their game, don't they, Ruby?
Yes.
Absolutely. What did you think, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because in the first episodes, all the designers have just met each other. They have to have time to kind of establish that dynamic of who you can get along with and not, and a lot of that has to do with what happens during the show. So, I mean, yeah, of course there's, and it's a competition. It's very weird dynamic because you hang out with these people, you live with them, you work with them every day, but then you're competing against them. So how do you balance that? You want to be supportive and fair to your new designer friends, but you're also trying to win. So
absolutely. And I like to say, have favourites in every competition. I have favourite parents, I have favourite coffee shops, I have favourite everything.
Wait, who's your favourite parent?
Well, at the moment, I say it changes, but at the moment it's my mum. I'm loving mum more at the moment, but it changes on a daily basis. One moment it might be dad, one moment it might be mum. Depends on my interaction with them today, but I definitely have favourites in everything. So I wanted to know, Ruby and Michelle, who are your favourites and who are your least favourites? Because that's fun. We like saying our favourites, but we also like to get down and say who we don't like and why.
I don't really like Alexander.
Yes.
He's just not the personality that I like, and I wouldn't hang out with the kind of guy like that. Because he has his ups and downs. Like, he's a really good designer, but sometimes his attitude isn't the best, and he's just a good designer. He doesn't have the best friendliness in the competition. He doesn't have like a friend he always talks to. He's always the one in the and always just working on his dress or outfit thing. So I don't really like Alexander.
There you go. I like that. So you're giving advice to some of the contestants. It's all about helping each other out. It's about teamwork. So that's good. So I feel like everyone needs to have a little bit of a one-on-one therapy session with you, and you can sort them out, girl. What did you think, Michelle? Who are you liking and who are you thinking not so on your good fan page side?
I love Dom Streeter.
Ooh.
She's gonna win the whole thing. I just love her aesthetic, and I think she's very professional in the way that she deals with the other designers, and also just the way that she handles herself. And I always root for my buddy Sam.
Yes.
And who don't I like? I don't know. I feel like Kini's kind of developed this attitude that's a little unbecoming, that he did really well in his season, and he's kind of riding that wave, but I don't see the work to back it up. It's just a lot of complaining. Like, yes, maybe Sam shouldn't have, ignored his work when they were teaming up, but at the same time, it's like, focus on your own work.
Yeah.
He clearly isn't doing that, so he doesn't really have anything. He doesn't have anything to back it up.
Totally, and that's the problem I had with Mitchell tonight, is I always say let your work speak for itself.
Right.
Because you often always hear, especially in LA and Hollywood, people talk about how good they are and how great something is, but if something's truly good and something's truly great, you don't actually have to say a thing because the work speaks for itself. And I thought it was funny, especially as we get into it later on, Mitchell did get eliminated, but he was the one that spoke about how his work was the best, how he was going to win, how he was the most current and all of that. And it just says let your work speak for itself, because in the end, he ended up getting eliminated, and he was the one that was judging everybody else. Isn't that correct, Ruby?
Yes.
But without further ado, I think it's time to get into my favourite part of the show, which is breaking down the designs. That's why we've got our girl Ruby in here, because she is a master at that. So let's bring on the designs and let's see our favourites, our not-so-favourites, and our somewhere-in-betweens. Our first look that we're going to break down is Miss Valerie, and she put forward to the runway a blue dress. So it started off, it's a long sleeve dress with a V-neck at the top, and then it's long and flowy at the bottom. I kind of was a little bit unimpressed with this dress. I think a lot of the judges loved it and they said aesthetically it was beautiful and it was so well made. Sometimes it's harder to look at that on the tally, but I did think it was a little bit mediocre. I loved the bottom half of the dress. I thought it flowed well and was beautiful and the colour pops, but I found the top half to be a little bit dated, and I thought what's so fresh about it does have to have the Baroque inspiration, but she didn't really take it and run with it. I felt you could have been way more creative, and especially because this is All Stars, very, very pretty dress, but what's wow about it? What's so Baroque about it, and what's so fresh and modern about it? So I gave it a 5.5 out of 10, because that's what we do, Ruby. We give them numbers out of 10. So I'd love to hear your opinion on Miss Valerie's.
I did not think it was in the theme of this episode at all. There's not one thing. It's just the blue that doesn't really go with the medieval time thing, and the light blue on the bottom, and then the kind of like subtle detail on the top. And the V-neck, you want to be more like kind of rustic, you could say, not as much, but it's just too modern and not enough like Baroque and stuff.
Awesome. And then what did you give it out of 10? What were you feeling out of 10?
I would give it a 4 out of 10.
A 4 out of 10. Good job.
You guys are so brutal.
I know, you're harsher than me. I thought I was going 5, and I thought, you know what, we'll throw her a bone, because 5 is average, and then I thought kind of a little bit above average. But high five to that. Look at that. You're not taking any prisoners tonight. Absolutely. No way. What did you think, Michelle?
I kind of agree with you when you said mediocre. It's definitely mediocre, but I get where she was giving the nod to the Baroque with the kind of corset detail under the lace, but it is very subtle. And it's kind of basic, but it does fit well. And, you know, compared to some of the other things on the runway, to me, I'm giving it a 7.
Oh, there we go. But it's funny when designers, what they think about it, because her quote tonight is, I'm excited. I feel really good about it. And I'm thinking, well, there's nothing to feel excited about. I said, if anyone described my dress as basic or mediocre, I would not be a happy man.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think we're going to move on to another design. I don't want to give mediocrity any more time or attention, but she was safe, and I think that's the dress she created, a very safe dress.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next look. Well, it looks like we're not moving on to the next look. We're going to wait for that to hurry up, but I'm going to describe Sam's look, because that was my favourite look. And as everyone knows, I'm a Sam, and I loved his dress, and I almost nominated him as my favourite look of the night. As everyone knows, it was the high neck, and it was in lace. It was white, and then he had the flower placement all across the dress, which were in the blue. And what was really fresh and modern about it was the colour choice, because everyone always thinks of Baroque and they think of the royal blues, and they think of dark colours, and they think of the burgundies and the gold. But he decided to create a Baroque design, but then choose a modern and fresh colour. And then instead, because Baroque is very covered up and all of that, he obviously got out of some of the other designers the advice to put flower placement where the lace was showing a little bit of skin, to keep up with the the modern design and element of the test. So I really liked it, and I thought, in my opinion, just because of the other ones were more Baroque looking, I gave actually my favourite to somebody else. But I thought he absolutely slayed it. We're looking at it up there, just absolutely beautiful. And I love a mermaid style dress. I love how fitted it was. I love that he chose a very expensive fabric and decided to do something simple with it, but really getting into the details, because it just shows that you can take a simple design, and if you make it structurally beautiful and you really work on those details, you don't have to have a crazy design. So I gave him a 9 out of 10 for this challenge, because I felt he was the only one that took it to the next level and didn't take it so literally. He took Baroque and thought, how does that fit into modern fashion? And bam, bam, boom. What did you think, Ruby?
I really loved this dress because I loved the fabric choice and all the flowers. It just looked really nice and just pretty. And it wasn't exactly the flowy type, but it did like move, and it had some movement in some cases when the model walked. And I just really liked the neck part. It was really pretty, and I would give this look an 8 out of 10. 8
out of 10, good. You're always one off me, because you're a little bit of a harsher critic than me. So it's like, whatever I give you, take another one off, because you're like, no, they could have done more. What did you think, Michelle?
I liked it a lot. I thought it was, like you said, the more modern take on the Baroque. It was kind of, even though the fabric wasn't really that light and airy, the whole look just gives you that like light feeling. I just feel like he didn't take it couture enough. Like the pearl straps were just kind of slapped on the top. I feel like he should have taken the pearls off and placed them in more of a couture way that looked more involved, like he did it himself. And I know that he was working on the flower placement and everything, and honestly, in the workroom, the designers give each other advice all the time.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't see that, and so since there's this whole thing going on with him and Kini, that's what they want you to see. And so, you know, don't get too upset about that, because I guarantee you half of the other designers were taking advice from each other and they're not being called out on it, so...
Yeah, totally, and that's what I thought. Everyone was like, he's not responsible, his look, someone else came up with it. I mean, you could go tell me the best design in the world, and I couldn't make it for shit. Like, there's no way I could make it. And I thought, isn't that part of it? Everyone's supposed to help each other, everyone's supposed to give advice, and that's why it was funny that Mitchell was the most one on his back, and then guess what? The most mouthy one delivered the least, and then he got the axe, the cut. But let's move on to another design. Who do we have up next? It looks like we have Dom design, and Dom was one of my favorites. I love that Dom just simply said, "I like my dress," and I thought, I like your dress too. I thought it was stunning. It kind of actually reminded me of a little bit of a like a flapper girl vibe with the headpiece. I think the headpiece just fed my little gay soul. I loved it. It reminded me of Kim Ye's wedding back in 2010. I love the colour. It was very J-Lo-esque inspired. Oh, I just thought it just needed a little bit more refinement, especially with the cape. But it was actually kind of my favourite, one of my favourites. It was just, the cape needed a bit more refinement. And I think because I'm a 20s guy, I know it's supposed to be Baroque, but I like that 20s inspiration in it. And I thought it was modern, classic, and I'm going to give it a solid 7.8 out of 10. Like, it's not quite an 8 and not quite a 7.5, so I'm going to go 7.8. What did you think, Ruby?
I really liked this dress because it's just Dom's fabric. It was just all nice, and I just loved the color. That just popped out to me the first time she got the color in Mood, and I just really loved it. And the cape, what really stood out to me was I did not like the cape. It didn't go with the seam at all. And her dress, though, the fabric, I think the texture wouldn't be like if you were going to the costume party, it wouldn't. I don't think it would really go with the theme. So I would give it like 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. There we go. Yeah, 0.8 less than mine. What did you think, Michelle? What did you think of this one?
I loved it as well. I loved all the, tiny detailing. She basically created her textile. I don't know if it's ribbons or if she cut out all the pieces, but she created the entire shape of the dress, the print out of like ribbons or something like that. And I like the addition of the cape because then it's not so basic. But I didn't think it was particularly Baroque, so I gave it an 8.
There we go. That was the first time that we're all kind of exactly on the same page. We had a 7, we had a 7.8, we had an 8. I think we're all in agreement with this look. But I'd love to move on to a new one. Let's see what we've got up next. We have, Mitchell Perry's. That was very Oprah of me, wasn't it? Mitchell Perry. I just think it's funny because I always say, and I've said it 1,000 times even in this episode, let your work speak for itself. I even say living in LA, if a money box is full and you shake it, it doesn't make a lot of noise. But if it has a few quarters in it and you shake it, it tends to make a lot of noise. And I look at that as well with talent and this competition. The ones that are truly talented and the ones that really do have a natural aesthetic and I think will win don't tend to talk about it because they've just got it and they have nothing to prove. I feel like Mitchell, he obviously does have talent, but I think it's an ounce of talent in comparison to some of the other contestants. So he's feeling insecure and he feels the need to talk about how good he is, but he can't just sit back and let his work show because it's not as good.
Well, I think there's a difference too. If you're very passionate about what you're doing, that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
You're not focusing about, okay, I want to be famous or rich or, make yourself look good. You just want to do what you love.
Yeah. So do you think he's obviously he's very talented, but do you think part of his inspiration is to try and get a reality career and to try and get in the media out of this particular show? Or
I mean, I feel like it's just insecurity.
Okay. Yeah.
Too, and you can tell by a lot of his designs that it just lacks experience
and security.
and security. So I feel like he has a lot of creativity. I feel like he just needs to work, practice,
Direction.
be in the industry, and get a little bit humbler.
What do you think about that? What do you think? Because you gave him a bit of humble advice before. What are you thinking about Mitchell and his dress?
I do not think it's a little too short, the dress, and he did mess up on the back. I think he would be a lot more organized and just more focused if he measured the girl right, the model, because it would have ripped. And I think that's why he kind of went home.
Isn't that interesting? That's good advice because a lot of people, that's a very easy thing to ignore. He knows the measurements of the model. He can remeasure her, but he chose not to.
Yeah. So I think it's just not the right kind of dress.
And what do we give it out of 10
Oh,
then?
right.
Yeah, that's a basic point. I'm going to give it a 0, I think.
I guess a 4 out of 10.
That's nice. Well, I would say I'm going to give it a 0, but I would give him a 2. But I don't even really need to comment on it. I just think, as we know, the top part, we can see where he was kind of going up into the waist. Quite beautiful, and it could be potentially something spectacular. But from the waist down, an absolute train track, an absolute fail. That's why you went home, Mitchell. Downer on me. I won't give you a 0. I'll give you a 2 just because the top half is nice, but an absolute F for fail. What did you think, Mishka?
I gave it a 4 as well. I really actually love from kind of the hips up. I think there's a really great idea there from far away. He created his own pattern as well, but the lack of experience in construction shows, and then the bottom half of the dress was a complete afterthought. I mean, even if you don't have that much time, it doesn't really take that much time to make a long skirt to, hem it. It's really not that difficult.
Absolutely. Look at you, because I love coming from your perspective, the design perspective, because we're just like, it's cute, it's ugly, we don't like it, we love it. But then you go in about the fabric and all of that because we don't know how long that takes. So inexcusable, you think?
I think so. It's just a piece of fabric. He would have even been better just leaving it short and saying, it's a gown, and trying to just stand behind that decision than try to just tack on some chiffon that has not even been hemmed. It's not, and the thing is, on the top, what he used to create the pattern was just raw chiffon, and that's very cool. But it didn't carry through to the bottom. You can't just not hem it. You'd have to do some kind of pattern, bring the pattern down, following to the bottom, or do something with it so it makes sense. A raw hem in itself is nothing.
Totally, and I think that brings it back to him. I think he's very heady and insecure. That's why he's got so many great ideas, so he just tries to chuck it all on there. It just kind of looks like he's vomiting all of his creative ideas on there. Bring it back. I reckon he needs to do a bit of meditation. How's that for a bit of psychology advice? Bring it back, do a bit of hum, yeah. Get centered, know who you are, and back yourself up, because you went home for a reason. So that would be my advice, is really center yourself and trust your gut instincts.
Well, and you have to learn to let go. As a designer, you get married to your ideas, and you think that it's life or death. But editing can make such a difference, and it takes time to learn that.
As Coco Chanel said, I'm sure you even know this phrase, Ruby. That so when you get dressed in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and then take one thing off.
I have a connection about that.
Ooh, what's that?
When I was getting ready to go here, I had this flower headband on, and I also had the choker.
There you go.
And then my mom said to take the flower headband off because it's just too much. And I did kind of overwhelm it. I was going flower power because this is flower and it was a flower headband, and I agreed with her a lot about it.
Your mum knows. See, she's following Coco Chanel's advice. Look in the mirror and then take one thing off, and that's why your outfit's a 10 out of 10, and that's why Mitchell gets a 2 out of 10 in my book. Sorry, Mitchell Perry, but you've gone home. Who else do we have next up? Let's have a look. We have Miss Asha Danielle's look. I thought this look on top was a little bit get my Indian wedding on, with a little bit of the diamantes here and there. Very nice bodice, fit-wise, but I did think it was a bit boring. I did love the colour. That is my favourite colour. It happens to be. With the gold, I'm loving. And I think the model actually elevates the look because of her skin tone and her Grecian-style hair and her beautiful big lips. She wears the look a lot better than what it would look like on a different model. She said her look was, I'm so happy. She thought it was a 10 out of 10. I'm content with your look, girl. I think it's okay. I'm going to give you a 6.5 out of 10. You're safe, but it's nothing spectacular. You're not designing a dress for Marquesa, but you're not packing up your things and going back to Luxembourg or wherever you're from. So a 6.5 out of 10. What do we think, girls?
I think it was I agree with you. It was a little boring and kind of basic.
Isn't that the worst when someone calls you basic? Oh my! If someone had called my design or something that I did basic, I would die. It's the worst thing to be called in the world, I think. Basic. Ugh.
And I do like the color, the gold. It's just not my thing. I don't really like it as much as that I thought I would. But
I'd love to put you on our promos. All of the things that you say, I just really didn't like it at all. 4. Average, mediocre, boring. Got to know yourself. Your advice is killer. I'm loving it so far.
And then I think I would do a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. There we go. Boom, Asha. There we go. Be careful. You're being served. What are you serving, Asha, Miss Mishka?
I liked how she took the Baroque idea and she kind of embroidered the top in that fashion. I feel like there would have been more successful if she would have done more detail for 2 days. I feel like this is definitely a one-day dress. It's okay. I mean, like you guys said, it's a little basic, but I like the little detail with the gathering of the skirt, and I like that she took the time and thought about how she was going to pattern the bodice. I just wish there was more. It doesn't look quite couture. It kind of just looks like a little, like, you know, when you go get a prom dress.
Yes, very, very Texas prom dress. Not very
It's-
LA prom dress.
yeah,
very, very like
so-
down south, like, yeah.
And it's just like a little detail, but you could get it, you know, at Macy's. So I gave it a 6.
6 out of 10. There we go. Oh, it was nice. I said 6.5. Sorry, Asha. But she's safe, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Look at who we've got next. I wonder who's next on our... Your least favourite. I'm munting over Alexander Pope. Looks like this chick went to the Goodwill, found a couture dress from the 80s that was supposed to look like the 20s and didn't quite sell it. It actually does. This photo is a very forgiving photo. It actually looks somewhat pretty in this photo. You know, it reminds me of a girl that I went to high school with that tried to do the whole Aubrey Hepburn look for our prom, but she borrowed her mum's dress from the 80s, and I remember just thinking, you've got it wrong, girl, and that's what I think of this look. Less is more. You know, refine yourself. The pearls were too much. The hair was too much. How does it represent Baroque? I'm not sure. Just safe. I'm giving it a 3.3, about a 3 out of 10. But very disappointing. But I don't expect much from him, to be honest. I think he's one of the weaker ones in the competition, and I think this definitely highlights that. So a 3 out of 10. What did you think?
In the beginning, I thought I would absolutely love Alexander's dress. But the one thing I did like about it had like a London feel to it, and like Audrey Hepburn kind of, but I just did not like the pearls. It looked really corny and cheesy. Yeah.
There we go, another thing for the promo. I didn't like the pearl. Yeah.
I would give it, since I do like the dress itself, it could have a little more detail. I would be nice and give it a 4 out of 10.
That's
The
good.
nicest
That's
I
what I'm
could
liking
do.
about you. I'm liking that the most important thing about judging clothes is sticking to your gun and sticking by what you believe. And you are not holding back. You're saying exactly what you believe, so that's good. You keep it up, girl. What do we think, Mishka?
I didn't really like it at all either. I feel like he has a really tough time translating. He comes from the costume world. He has a tough time translating that into fashion. And I feel like his techniques are good, his fabric choices are good, but it never quite turns out.
Always, every week there's always something,
Right.
isn't there? Yeah.
So, because apparently this dress has like layers of sequins underneath some lace, and you can't see any of that from the runway. And then the addition of the pearls, especially from farther away, it doesn't have a pattern. It's just kind of all over the place. Like, it's not ombre, it's not, flowers, whatever. So to me, that's not even couture, but there's so many layers to this dress and technique. I gave it a 5 just for, the workmanship and the eye for the detail, because I like the idea of the lace over the sequins and things, but the silhouette is dated, the pearls in the hair, the styling, everything. And I think he just wanted so bad to make it a couture piece and just kept adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff, and it didn't work.
Yeah, refine yourself, because as we keep saying, less is more, and I think what he really needs is a good mentor. Like, he needs someone like a Georgina Chapman to help him, because he's got so many great ideas and he's so talented.
He's very talented. He just needs to funnel it in a different direction, but that's what he does for a living, is costume. So it's easy to have that kind of inclination.
Totally. He's always neither here nor there. Mm-hmm. That's how I would describe him. We're getting down to the final last looks. I'm ready for a bit of Ken vibes. I think Ken vibes is coming soon, but we've got Kini now. I was just fascinated by it. I didn't even get to really take this in because it was just so much. So I'm kind of looking at it now. It's got a bit of a Chinese-esque vibe to it. It reminds me of Chinese New Year. I think that's probably where he went a little bit wrong with the Baroque fashion. I just think it is interesting. So I love that he took it to kind of a new level. But I like the idea of it. I think that's what I'm fascinated by. I like where it could be taken, but it's got too much of a Chinese New Year vibe about it, not enough of a Baroque vibe. So I'm going to give it, and it's just the bottom is it's a very good idea, but it just hasn't been executed the way it should be, and it looks like it's just been kind of plopped on. But I love the idea of it. Like, I just would love to see him have another day on it and another $300, but a bit too Chinesey vibe for me. So I'm going to give him just because I love the idea, I'm going to give him a 4.5 out of 10. I'd love to give him some more, but it just doesn't fit with the brief, and he just needed some more time. What did you think, Ruby?
If this dress was a little shorter and darker red and no flowers, it looks like what the Queen of Hearts would wear.
Oh, it does too, yeah.
So, and I did spell his name wrong, so.
Oh, did you?
That. I just did not. It looked more like a costume, and it just didn't work out. And I do agree that it does look like some Chinese New Year with the white flowers, and it's kind of orangey. But the fact that I do like the bottom. It does look really good. If it was shorter, I think it would look a lot better for some reason. I would give this, since I do like the bottom, a 6 out of 10.
Well, yeah, it would be a bit more fun if it was shorter as well. A bit more of a party dress to vibe.
Yeah.
It still had to be a gown, but it would give it a bit more of a fun vibe. What did you think, Michelle?
I just didn't care for it at all.
Oh, I know, I saw your face when you walked in. You were just like, lampshade.
Okay, well, we've seen Kini do this technique like 300 times, and this is the least successful of those times. It's like, she looks like a box with a bigger box on the bottom. It's not flattering, and I just don't think tacking on a bunch of lace makes anything couture. So and I agree with you. It does look very like Asian inspired. I'm not seeing Baroque. There's just nothing that I care about in this dress, like, at all. I know it's like Kini can just whip out dresses, but maybe he should think before he sews.
Oh, I love that. You're just throwing some shade to King.
I'm really over him. So I gave it a 3.
3. So's Kini. Oh, that's all right. Well, I'm sure he's getting some sleep because he did make it through. We've got 3 designs left. I think we've got Emily coming up, and we've got Ken as well. Oh my God, he's my favorite, guys. As I always say, we know I love Oprah, and I always have favourite things because I copy my inner Oprah, and this is one of my favourite things. I loved it. He said, my model looks amazing. I thought she looked amazing. It was exactly what I wanted to see. I love that Mitchell was comparing it to Bark. If that's Bark, it is definitely from Maria Antoinette's Garden. I gave it a 9.5. I don't even know how to describe it. It is so beautiful, so elegant, yet simple, yet refined, yet modern, yet Baroque. The only thing I wanted to see was the cape come off. I thought that would have elevated it to the next level. So that's why I gave it a 9.5. I would have liked it to be removable, because how good would that be for the modern and the sexy element, to take it off and be like, bam, like, yes, I am a very refined, covered up Baroque woman, but look, I'm the new age modern woman, and I can take this cape off, and then you can go to awards. Any star would wear that dress without the cape on the red carpet. So that's what I wanted to see, and I thought it would have elevated it, but I thought amazing, and I'm so excited to see his piece for Marquesa. A 9.5 out of 10, and I'm just so happy. I think he's got a really good eye, and I think he deserves to win a challenge, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't say no more. I love it.
I absolutely love it also. It's really pretty, and I just love the two little stripes of black kind of sequency, and it just looks kind of like from a faraway distance. It looks like it's shimmering in the light, and it just brings that effect that just makes her face pop out, and like it's really nice.
She looks like a star, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That's what a star looks like. You're like, that is couture, that's it, I love it.
And there's no flaws about it. It's amazing. I think it's a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10. High five to that. A 10 from Ruby's hard to get. So, Ken, you've done well if you're getting a 10 from Ruby, that's for sure.
Yeah, I loved it as well. I just think, especially compared to the other looks, it looks so much more elevated.
Yes.
I love texture mixing myself, so that always gets me. It's the texture of the fabric looks so rich and expensive and unique. So whenever he chooses fabric, it's just a winner right there already. But also, I think it just looks modern. She looks so, I mean, this could be on the McQueen runway.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. It's got a very Alexander McQueen vibe.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, that's what I was thinking. Amazing, yeah.
But it's still wearable at the same time, so
Yeah.
I gave it a 9, because I don't really do 10s unless you're
Yeah.
just out of this world.
Wow. I mean, amazing, Ken. Amazing, Ken. Now we're moving on to our last couple of designs. We've got Emily up, and I'm an Emily. I wasn't really sure about it to begin with, but I really did like her dress. I thought it was interesting. I love the sparkles. It wasn't having enough Baroque inspiration for me. I think that's where she fell flat. But I love the top, and I love that she showed a little bit of skin on the bottom, because I do think that's where people were kind of scared of showing a bit more skin, but because it does have the modern element, I think you're allowed to show a little bit of skin, but it was just missing something. It was missing some refinement, and it did look a little bit too ready to wear and not Baroque enough. So for that, I gave her a 6, but I think she's kind of the secret weapon in this competition. She gets the highest scores, never the highest, never a mediocre score. But yeah, I thought she did a good job. Not a mediocre job, not an amazing job, but she did a good job, and she's safe this week.
I kind of got the like gothic vibe for this one, like her hair and kind of the makeup, and then like it just looks weird and not like Baroque enough.
The hair's definitely completely wrong. I agree with you
Yeah.
on that. 100% wrong.
There's just not much to say about it. It's kind of like all over the place. I would give it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. What are you thinking, Mishka?
It was good, like you said.
Good, yeah.
I don't know why everybody in this challenge kept going like 20s.
Yeah, it was such a 20s vibe. Yeah, everybody.
The
Yeah.
hair and like the drop waist flapper look.
Yeah.
Didn't really strike me as Baroque either, but whatever. It didn't strike me as particularly couture either. But the best part about it was the skirt, and I know it's very simple, but I just like the shimmeriness of it. The way that she gathered it, it's a simple construction technique, but just the way that the fabric shimmered. I mean, there's lots of shimmery fabric. It was just very high shine, and I loved when it moved.
It kind of reminded me of, like, as far as the couture element, like Paris in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not reflective of today, but in Paris 2002, that would have been very couture with the chic and the deal or no deal
Sure,
hair.
yeah.
But yeah, it's very like, I think of the Lizzie McGuire movie when she goes to like Rome and then she puts on all the couture stuff. That's something Hillary would have put on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
is that it for our designs? I think, do we have any more? I think we might have one more. Oh, of course. How did we forget this design? I am not sure about this. This is Layana's design. When I saw that fabric, when she picked it in moods, I thought she's won. She's won. She's
Yeah.
won. She's
Yeah.
done it. And the top, I'm like, from the waist up, you've done it. You've done it. You've done it. And then,
Brown.
too much. And even though I was thinking, she was so close to going home. Even if you just make that brown black, I would love it if the brown was black. I would still think it's a little bit too much, and I think you could do more with it and kind of refine it back. But why? She's worked for Oscar de la Renta, and now she's doing the brown with the yellow. No! And the fabric, I thought her fabric choice was the best. I was so excited by it, and then 4. She just let me down on the bottom, and the brown. No, the brown. Not a fan. 4.
I thought in the beginning Layana was making the best dress ever.
Yes.
Because I loved that she said it's kind of a Spanish feel for it. And then she just added the brown. I think yellow and brown go together, but not in a dress and not like anywhere near that. Then I thought it kind of got a rustic feel to it because brown and it's just yellow and it looks weird together. I don't like it, so I'm just gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
And also, just quickly, they also don't think about the hair as well, because she's got such a bold design and it's straight up to the neck. You need to have the hair slicked back. You can't have this big bold hair like that. And I mean, the model is stunning, but that's adding a whole different element to the look. You would even look, if you just pulled her hair back in a high bun, that would even make it better. And then if the brown was black, completely different. I think she would be completely
Just
safe.
make it more refined.
Yeah, more refined. Like that's a statement, and it's distracting.
Yeah.
What did you think, Michelle?
This jacket is everything. I love the jacket. I love the yellow. I love how she mixed the prints and put them together. I hate the skirt. It's not just the color. I just hate the silhouette. I think it looks dowdy. I think it looks weird. It's not inspired. I would have loved to see it with pants, but I know they had to make a gown. But I feel like there's just something different she could have done on bottom that was more chic and like refined, that complemented the jacket. Instead, the jacket's the key piece, like not
Stunning.
her hair, not the you have to focus the attention on the jacket, and she kind of took away all the attention by just adding all these ruffles and stuff, and it's like too much for me.
It is.
I think she had a winner. The
She
jacket
did.
is perfect.
It is, yeah. It's just funny because a lot of people get trapped in the design, so they think, okay, it's all about the look, but it's how the look is executed.
And
Because-
you're presenting your work. You can't just say, "Oh, well, this is what I was thinking in my head." Like the judges don't care. They're looking at what's in front of them.
Totally. So she was just looking at and it's just funny that she didn't even know. Like she's like, I've got the winner. I've got it.
Yeah,
I've got it.
yeah.
And she didn't have it at all. And she was very lucky to stay. And then we obviously saw Mitchell go home because it was Layana up against Mitchell. What do we think of that? I called Mitchell. I thought he's got to go home because Layana's jacket was just so on point and she just lost it at the bottom. Mitchell's had train wreck. Train wreck.
And it's been a pattern.
It's been a pattern, a train wreck. Okay, time to go home. Were you happy with the outcome there, or did you think someone else should have gone?
I do think Mitchell should have gone home. Well, he did. I agree that he got home. And I don't know, his just attitude this whole season was not very...
Blah. That's what I think, yeah. Just blah.
Blah.
Yeah.
I didn't really like him. I wasn't rooting for him. He's just not the type of guy that I would like to hang out with.
Yeah, arrogant and not the most talented. So, to the streets you go, Mitchell. What did you think about the decision? Did you think it was the right decision?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, Layana's jacket was, I mean, if she would have just done something different on bottom, she could have even been in the top. Mitchell, it's just been consistently questionable work. He definitely has, creativity, but I think he just needs to,
More time.
he needs to sit at home and, make things every day for 2 years, and then... maybe there'll be some editing or some lessons learned or something. But
Go and work for Anna Wintour. That's my advice.
I
and
feel like he has something there. He just needs to work on it.
Absolutely. And on that note, I've got to say, it has been so good to have you in the studio. You are welcome back anytime. I think all of our viewers are going to love you. I'm so excited to start getting the comments, the tweets. I want you to one more time tell everybody where they can find you because they are going to adore you. I guarantee you our audience will love you.
So on Instagram, it's Ruby Adler 05, RUBYADLER 05, and then for Snapchat, it's the exact same thing, RUBYADLER05, and yeah.
Oh, awesome. And Michelle, before we quickly go, I just want to talk to you quickly about your website, because I understand you had a sale on. Is the sale still going on? And where can they find your website to buy your designs? And where can they find you on social media?
The website is www.michelleUberreste.com. And if you want to know about sales, you have to follow me on Instagram, because that's where I post all my sales. Instagram and Twitter is @Uberreste.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so amazed with your designs at the moment. I'm going to buy a couple for my sisters, actually. So after the show, I'm going to look at some of your stuff. I'm going to get some for my sisters. And you can find me on Instagram @DanBabic. And you can find me on the Twitter. So send me a tweet @DanBabic with an _. It's been great. Another fantastic show. And join us next week for another after show of Project Runway All Stars. Good night, guys. Bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.